up? It's your boy Carcino here. Don't forget to hit the like button coming through the door. Let people know you here. Now, Snoop, Uncle Snoop, or whatever you want to call him, he's been normally the same character forever. He just cool. So he gets paid for being cool. All throughout the universe, Snoop is just known as cool. Now, what Snoop been doing lately, as it portrays to Tupac Shakur, I don't view that as cool, bruh. I don't view that as cool, and I think it's corny. When when somebody like people love Snoop, like nobody got no real love for Snoop, so it's not like people are dissing Snoop. It's like, dog, what are you doing? Like you sound real crazy and bitter. And everybody keeps asking me about, oh man, Snoop, man, what you think about what Snoop said? Snoop. I've told you about Snoop 7, 8, 9 years ago. Y'all just didn't see, the world just was going with the BS. I've already told you. I made that video probably 2015, and I caught a lot of heat over it. Snoop Dogg jealous of Tupac. Remember? I made that video like so many years ago. And nobody believed me. I was called, I'm making it up. I'm a hater. I hate Snoop. All kind of stuff. Right? But if you go and you type that in, now you're going to see all these other people who basically then piggyback off of what I said. Yeah. It was one of the first videos I was doing in my Truth Behind series. One of them. Snoop and Tupac. The truth of how Tupac and Biggie feud started and Snoop jealousy of Tupac. Then we went here. The real reason behind Tupac and Snoop Dogg issues. That was 5 years ago. This was 9 years ago. So this is nothing new to me. Snoop was jealous of Tupac, period. He was jealous of this man. Completely jealous. And now that Tupac is like synonymous, even in death, he is still greater than where Snoop is as far as rank. Even in death. So if you know that already, a lot of people say, why? Because he always felt this way. You see, it's hard when you don't like somebody and they pass, it's hard about trying to send love to them when you really don't have no love in your heart for them, or you don't feel that way about them, really. I told y'all, this had nothing to do with Tupac. He was mad at Suge for giving Tupac something he never got. He didn't like how Suge was gravitating and giving Tupac everything, but mainly Snoop never had doggy style records. That they used to just say that. He never had it. He never had his publishing. So he wasn't even allowed to do that. And Tupac come along and he allowed Tupac to get Machiavelli Records. That pissed Snoop off. That pissed him off. How did Tupac come get this? He was jealous as hell. When he got Machiavelli Records and Death Row was finna distribute it, he was mad as hell. Tupac get to keep his publishing, but I can't. We built this mother. That's what he was saying then. You see, I already know that. So now he's trying to change the facts. He's trying to change the rules. Hit the like button, good people. Hit the like button, good people. He's trying to change the rules. He's real good at playing politics now. And he faked it. Now, if you listen to him, he's trying to change history. He's trying to change Tupac history. Like Tupac was doing everything on his own. We ain't had nothing to do with that. This dude made a Biggie diss song that was in the shelf for years. He was taking shots at the East Coast. He lied about his own history. He keeps trying to change his own history. He tried to change the history of the Source Awards and blame that on Suge. He put us in a dangerous environment. Yeah, we just in there trying to show love. He created that atmosphere. No, you did. You the one went up there and grabbed the mic. Y'all don't love us. Y'all don't love Dr. J and Snoop Dogg. We'll let it be known then. We don't give up. You the one that set it off. Suge didn't say he ain't leaning your ear and go, hey, Snoop, I think you need to go on stage, grab the mic out of his hand, and represent for Death Row. That's what you do. You get up there. So he gonna turn all that on Suge. We could have got killed that night. He turned that into a dangerous situation. I'm like, Snoop, come on, stop. You did that. Nobody asked you to do that. You was feeling charged up because you with Death Row. Well, I'm split on Napoleon. Yeah, he's telling some truths, but he did a lot of things too that was divisive. I won't go there or fully into it, but he did some divisive things back in the day, and he's using this whole thing to eat now, and that's cool, I guess, because he was an outlaw, but he wasn't no real day one guy. You know what I'm saying? So it's a whole different feel when it come to him. All the Tupac day ones are basically gone. But Napoleon, I think he's right. I haven't really seen it. A lot of people say, I seen like a clip or something he said, and because everybody's like, yo, what you think about this? And they sent me a clip. It was like a 1 minute clip. They wanted me to give my opinion, but I'm like, I've already talked about this. When Tupac joined Death Row, Snoop Dogg was jealous. They basically recycling my stories and putting them back up with other people who using production and everything else, but they just stealing from me. They don't even know what they talking about. So they go grab somebody else who was there so they can collaborate it, and rather say I'm telling the truth, they just lie. I know, and this is what I be saying all the time. How everybody don't want to give you your credit, but they want to rob from you. You know what I'm saying? They want to steal from you. Now, he went from that to Jay Z was jealous of Tupac. Jay Z didn't have any concern for Tupac whatsoever. Hell, he would have did a song with him and Biggie at that time. He didn't give a damn about the war. It's not what Jay Z's about. You see what I'm saying? These people really just don't know. Snoop just be talking. That's why I was saying just a couple weeks ago, like, they should not ask Snoop about anything past like 2010. Because he didn't smoke so much that his mind is gone. Artists was jealous when Tupac got there. They weren't really jealous. They had a rightful beef. Like the Lady of Rage got pushed to the side. A lot of people projects was that Death Row was finna work on, was pushed to the side. So all the work went towards let's get Tupac album out quick. Why, the attention is hot. We got to get that going. And Pac finished it so fast. He finished it so fast that they were like, wow. They didn't think it was gonna be that. It was ready by like they were like, we could let this go in January around this time. Just drop it. Cause man, he finished that. Well, you said there's a lot of different it's a lot of different things Snoop say. Snoop say things to try to make himself look good now. Dog, we saw you on stage when Tupac did hit him up. You was right there with him laughing while Tupac talking about that's why I effed your wife, you baby baby. You on stage backing him up. You was his hype man on stage while he's dissing Biggie, talking about sleeping with his wife. You bouncing on the stage. Yeah. And then you act like now he's telling this whole lie about how when he heard hit him up, like he was disgusted. Like he was disappointed. Like, I didn't like that. The only person who really didn't like the record that Tupac played it for was Ice-T. Ice-T kept it real. Ice-T was like, yo, man, I'ma tell you, homeboy, nah, I don't think you should drop that record. You're gonna cause a lot of waves out here in the streets. It's gonna get real funky for guys. Artists, other West Coast artists that's out there on the road. You gotta think about them. They got this day 9 to 5. You do that, and you just set us all back. This song is explosive. This is just too much. So Pac thought he was hating, that he was old, jealous, and hating, and he got ties with them East Coast niggas and all that. So he was like, "Oh man, I can't trust Ice-T, man. He been rubbing shoulders with them East Coast men." What's up, Carlito? Oh, you got Carlito reviews now. Okay, you done came up. He said, "I never liked how Snoop switched up once the beef was really on. It was shameful. People our age know the truth." See, here's the thing. Snoop was in the Dog Pound. They were the ones in the beef first. Tupac never had a beef. You see what I'm saying? It was never an East Coast, West Coast beef. The real beef when it was getting started was Snoop in the Dog Pound, basically against Biggie now. They were in it first. They dropped the New York, New York song, and it wasn't really the song. It was the video. They took it as a diss that they came out, the Dog Pound gonna drop a song called New York, New York. And it was like, he was like, we was giving New York props, but your video was you kicking over buildings in New York. That didn't look like love. And this was like after this is like after the Source Awards, basically. Had he done that before the Source Awards, they wouldn't have been invited. They never clarified what New York, New York song was. So, like Gaddafi Tragedy said, we gonna make a song called LA, LA. And Mobb Deep and them got involved. And it's way before Tupac and anything. Tupac didn't have no beef with Mobb Deep at all. And at all. None. He jumped in the Mobb Deep situation for them, the Dog Pound. And Snoop. That was it. Mobb Deep ain't said one word about Pac. He had nothing to do really with the whole situation. Pac was coming at them like they was tearing, like dissing him. And they wasn't. They was like, this dude talking about my health. And like, who is, like, dude, we had love for dude. You know, like we thought he was a real one, you know, and like they came up there, they saw him, they was little dudes when Pac saw him. But they was like, dude, like, you really, this dude has really lost his mind. You know, he think it's like just two members in the group or something. It's like, dude, we got 100 dudes behind us. Like, are you crazy? Like, this dude must really be nuts. So they just didn't know. Pac just didn't care. And at that time, he had bigger situations. He had real gangsters, not rappers, that he felt he had beef with. But here's the thing that Pac didn't know, that we know, is they didn't have beef for him. They weren't after Tupac. The people, the gangsters in New York that he kept talking about, that he had a problem with, they had no problems with him. They felt whatever's happened at that Quad Studios was enough. That was the message, saying, okay, now you done been humbled to realize you can be touched. We glad you survived. It was never supposed to go that far anyway. It was supposed to be just a humbling, taking of jewelry, putting you in the situation. They didn't want to harm no artists out there, especially in the studio area. So Pac just is Pac. You know, you just ain't finna take nothing from him. So, you know, they had to, you know, let off because he was going to pull. So at that situation in time, which is crazy, can you imagine if Pac would have got off first, how the New York situation would have turned? How that scale would have went? Nobody thinks about that, do they? But this lion Snoop Dogg Snoop sat up there and lied to the people. He straight up lied, B. I can't I can't I can't even fathom how many times this dude has changed the truth about everything that's happened. He's changed the truth around so much. He went to New York and started kissing up to Snoop, I mean to Puffy and Big on the radio because he was like, man, these dudes been showing us love, man. It's all love. He started kissing up with them. He started kissing up to them because one, yeah, he was jealous of Tupac's distribution deal. Tupac is getting everything fast. And he felt like, man, y'all ain't putting no push behind my album. My album is almost, ready to fly. The Dog Father. He had the Dog Father album getting ready to come out. And when his album was getting ready to drop, Tupac had another album that's going to drop right after it. And they was like, whoa, what is this? Tupac got two albums ready to go. Actually, three. Tupac is finna drop Machiavelli. Then he's gonna drop the Outlaws album. And then he got One Nation. So he was gonna get out all his West Side Ride. And then he was coming with the One Nation album. So he had the Machiavelli. That album's coming out. Then he's doing the Outlaws album. He gonna rap on their songs, and he was on like almost every song. And he took Watch Your Mouth off of the Outlaws album. Watch Your Mouth was gonna be a song on the Outlaws album. He took it off after him and Nas had, basically came, but Machiavelli album was already done, so he couldn't change it. He was like, look, you know what it is with me and you. The album's changed. Just don't reply to that. And it won't be nothing else. Like we all good. Me and you. So once that happened, he took Watch Your Mouth off the Outlaws album. That wasn't gonna come out no more. Are You Still Down is his old album. No, that's a Feeny. They put out Are You Still Down when he was deceased. That was the first one because they didn't own that album. That was an Interscope and his old management. They own those songs. Death Row didn't own them. Those are the songs he had. That was going to be his third album. That was going to be called Thug Style. And those were all the songs he was recording for that album. All those songs wouldn't have made it. Like he stopped. He was recording that album and doing. Then he started doing Thug Life album. So most of the verses you hear on that album is on Thug Life. Straight Ballin', that was the hit on the Thug Life album. I'm straight ballin'. So when Straight Ballin' came out, it's nothing but I'm getting money on, different beat, everything. So they made the right decision. I love Straight Ballin'. One Nation was gonna be, no, it's about 14, 15 songs. They had a bunch of people appearing, dropping verses from the East Coast, and Pac was rapping with them. And we was gonna get a Pac and Nas song. Can you imagine what that song would have been like? No, it was gonna be introspective. It wasn't gonna be anything like going at people. They was gonna make an introspective song, and they was gonna collaborate on a song. Pac loved Nas because Nas was a rapper's rapper, like a poetic. That's why the Machiavelli album, he's really trying to show Nas. Like Nas is the guy he really trying to go at, because Nas is like, oh, Nas got the whole thing. He took that from Biggie. Like everybody with Nas now. Like he's got the love, he got the power. Like Biggie don't have the power no more. Biggie been quiet. Because at that time, Biggie was quiet. They was not really putting out anything. Big was like chilling. They just did a remix. He was getting paid off remixes. So he was just starting to work on his album. The double, it wasn't even gonna be a double CD until they pushed the album back. When Pac put his album out to come out on the same date, Machiavelli was coming out on the same date as Biggie album. So then they pushed it back to next year. It was supposed to come out in 96. So then they decided to go on and make it a double CD. I go back and forth with that. Pusha T said something like that, something crazy. And I'm just like, I don't know about that, Push. Yeah, Nas had a diss record back when the Mobb Deep situation was coming out. He had recorded a diss record. You know, like he was in it. Like people don't realize how Nas was really down with Mob, and he made the song on the side. But Nas, Nas initially didn't want no smoke because he was feeling a certain way with Big and everything else. But all these artists be like trying to protect themselves because they don't want their past to come around, so they try to change history. Snoop's making all these lies about that was my brother. He was in New York basically hating on Pac the whole time for the MTV Awards. The MTV Awards, he was nowhere around when this beef was happening. He was with his own team, his own crew, trying to show love to everybody. You even see he's walking in, they was like, F you, F you, and he threw up the peace sign. And they got the hidden footage, and he was like, peace. Threw up the peace sign. And some New Yorkers was just there like, F you, man, F you. I mean, seriously. He was getting that everywhere. Right. I mean, if you listen to Life After Death and you listen to All Eyes on Me was designed to be a double album. So it's more, to me, more polished, more complete. Life After Death was never made to be a double album. They eventually made that a double album because it got pushed back, and you could tell because some of the songs are just not good that I didn't like on the albums. And they was like, "It's no skippables on Life After Death." Yeah, it is. I didn't like the song with that "Missing You" song. I didn't like that. I didn't like another one with Little Kim. I didn't like that. What do you do if your girl is untrue? Do you just? I'm like, I hated that song. It was a lot. The first disc is damn near unskippable, but the second disc, I skipped a lot. Like the Nasty Boy song, Big, you so nasty. I didn't like play that too much at all. When it got to the world is full of them to know, we'll just talk about those I know. I'm like, hey, make it hot. I'm like, all right, here we go. Then I'm back in the game. But yeah, when that second did start, I was like, skip. Skip. Like I ain't listening to another you no more. It's just that was like a filler song. Another you was fire, but no, you gotta be talking about Pimps and Hoes. With Too Short, yeah, that made it hot, dude. That was my homeboy Jim Bronsky. He didn't like none of the songs on the album except for that one. I'm like, wow. I'm like, you didn't like the whole album? He was like, nah, except for that Tupac, that one with Too Short. Yeah, that's a hit. I said, yeah, you are way West Coast. So you gotta understand, most of these Midwest dudes are so West Coast out. Y'all just don't know. West Coast had a huge influence on Chicago. We was the big hub for it. Biggie came and really turned that around. Us, like people who was really into hip hop, shoot, we was Wu Tang, we were all the way in. See, the casuals just really messed with just like the main album, like the Wu Tang Clan album or Method Man. That's all they knew. Then Dirty came along and he just blew up and just forced his way in the picture. But people like Ray and Ghost, the casuals didn't really know them until Ice Cream dropped. I mean, all these chicks talking about, I'm a butter pecan Rican. I'm like, yes, you are. You're on the menu. So we was all caught into it because my cousin was rapping. You know, he rapped with Kel and all them. So we were often in New York in Wyclef studio. And this was like after the fact of a lot of things that was developing. So we got to hear about how the Quad studio situation really was going down and what really was happening from people who was actually there that night. You know, like it was some people there that night that were recording artists and they rolled with the crew and they peoples were there, you know, like related to, you know, Jimmy. So it's a whole different type of situation. So when we heard that, this was like we was like no man, because this and this and this and this. And he was just like, look, man, it's not as big as what people think it is. Like it was like no real conspiracy, all these other people involved. It's like it's totally wrong. Totally wrong. And I mean, I understand these people got to eat, or they find a way. You got all these other bodyguards coming out from nowhere now, making videos and all this stuff. And hey, I ain't got nothing against Gene. So let me just say that now, because Gene gonna be like dissing me again in a video talking about I ain't mentioning you. I'm like, dude, go on do your thing, brother. I ain't mad at you. Go on do your situation. No, there's no fear, Gene Deal, at all. Not 1% fear of him doing anything to me. It's not about a fear. It's about two men respecting each other enough. Like I understand the hustle. You know, not saying he's a liar. It's just some of this stuff is grossly exaggerated, in my opinion. Like when he made a statement, and that's when I had to correct him about Andre Harrell. That was incorrect. That man is deceased, but don't say that man because you did not know. And I knew. I was like, no, he was gonna be on. They was trying to get him on New York Undercover, but he was like, you don't think them white boys did that? Them white boys wanted him not no Andre Harrell. You think they told Andre he had to do that? I'm like, see, that's when you freestyle. Because first he said Andre hated Tupac and this and that. He didn't know anything about the New York undercover situation. Once I brought that to the forefront, he freestyled a whole new thing about some white boys told Andre Harrell to do that. You think they didn't tell him to do that? I said, no. My response to him was absolutely not. The white boys did not want Tupac on there because he was banned from Fox because they all got involved in a lawsuit with a limo driver over Living Color. When he made an appearance on the Living Color, and the limo driver got into it, and they ended up whooping the limo driver. He sued in Living Color. He sued Fox. Sued Tupac Shakur. So Fox, he was banned from television. There was no more Tupac gonna be on Fox, and anybody else, all the other networks weren't taking it. So he was trying to rectify that. Like, y'all got to hear the situation and what happened. The guy's trying to extort us. The driver was crazy. Like, he really started it with us. So, but Tupac was genuine with Snoop. Right. Andre Harrell said he sat down and talked with Andre. Andre's like, I'm gonna work this out with them. I'm gonna take you in there with me, and I'm gonna sit you down, and you just tell them what you just told me right now. Because everybody in here was scared when you came through the door. They didn't like, why are they bringing this dangerous guy in here? That's how they felt about Tupac. And then as soon as he got there, he took away all their fears. So they know the situation. They know the truth. When he came out and he was supporting, when Snoop had his trial going on, and Snoop was basically cold water at that time. They were putting out songs on soundtracks, but everybody was like, man, when the next Snoop album coming out? Snoop album dropped in like 93. 1993, Doggy Style came out. And then it's been 3 years later, he was on the dog. He was doing the soundtracks, Above the Rim, Murder Was the Case, and he never came out with the second album. He was getting Dog Pound off. And Suge wasn't even gonna drop the Dog Pound album. But they stuff was ready to go. Daz and them had it ready. Wasn't everybody work ethic ready to go? Now the Lady of Rage talking about Tupac didn't like her and they pushed her to the side. The Lady of Rage takes all day to make a record. Like, I mean all day. And she waiting on everybody else to get on the song. Nobody gonna get on the song with her and all this. You gotta have some get up and go. Like, you gotta be the one to jump up and say, this is what I'm gonna do. This is what I want to do. I gotta take it. And y'all ain't gonna want to get on my track. Cool. I don't need nobody on my record. I'm gonna rip it myself. See, this is back in the day before you send in your audios. You had to actually be there. Well, that ended. Y'all don't really know. It's a lot of stuff that happened after the fact. No, Snoop was angry before he even went. Snoop wasn't going to the Mike Tyson fight because he wasn't talking to Tupac anyway. So he wasn't going to that. Nobody from from Dog Pound, none of them, they was like, we don't roll with shit like that. If it ain't no function that we need to be at, we ain't going to that fight. But Badass was like, man, come on, man, let's go. Pac said it's all good. He was like, man, like, we ain't roll with them. Pac was rolling with the MOB at the time. So they don't, they on the blue side. They like, dog, we don't just jump up and roll everywhere they roll. Yeah, Nate Dogg went solo, but Nate Dogg was the one that always had the strap on him. Every time they tried something with old Nate, Nate had the strap on. Well, see, that's another like fable. Everybody think like, oh man, because the blood's gonna be there. They just gonna mob down on the Crips. Uh, it ain't go like that. It's a lot of dude. It was a lot of real. It wasn't like no punk Crips around out. They had real blue guys, and it's been some times that y'all don't know that the others like Suge and them had to say, okay, all right, cool. We all good here. Like for real, like it's getting real funky out there. Like they was not having it. It's just that they were more reserved. They was like, look, but like that's like real connection. Like his uncle, and people like that, they had some real dudes. So it was serious. And that's all. Suge is a businessman. Why do you think he even had the dog pound them there anyway? His whole thing was, let's get this gun. Yeah. Gift Huxtable. Hey, see though, you go to University of Arizona. You said you go to University of Arizona. Yesterday, I saw the lead research producer from ESPN and did a Zoom call with my journalistic class. He dropped some jewels. I recorded the audio if you want to hear. Okay, cool. Just go to my email. My email's in there. Or you could send it to me on my IG and send me a DM. My IG the same. Yeah, I was texting somebody. He said I'm from Scottsdale. Man, it's a lot of Arizonans out here. My boy out here getting it in. All right, well, you can send it to my email. It's in the description box. What's up, Burundi? Oh, my prediction video for the fight is on my Patreon, the Carsino for Life Patreon. It's over there. Snoop been telling a lot of lies. He tells all the lies about how he really wasn't doing this, he really wasn't doing that. He was all in. He was all in on everything. Mm-hmm. Oh, Snoop lied about 4 to 5 different times because he keeps trying to make it seem like, my thing is this: Tupac is deceased. Even if you don't have anything good to say about somebody, there's a lot of people deceased that I didn't get along with or hang out with in real time. So if I didn't get along with them in real time, why do I need to get along with them right now? No, but it's respect for life. When somebody's not here anymore in the physical, there's nothing else to talk about, really. It's done. It's done and done. Right. They got family members. You got people that still love them. They ain't had nothing to do with probably why y'all was having a disagreement, and whatever y'all was ain't had nothing to do with them probably even losing their life. So I just wanted to address that. Snoop's a liar. So shouts out to Kwame Brown on Bus Life. He was jealous of Pac because Pac got a lot of love from Suge. He got mainly his publishing. He couldn't start Doggy Style Records, which he wanted to start with Death Row. He couldn't get that. But Tupac could come along and just get Machiavelli Records. And he putting out his crew, the Outlaws and all this stuff. So Snoop was very upset about that. So he pouted like a little punk all while he was in New York. Snoop is lying. He was jealous of Pac and everything Pac was getting. When Pac first got there, ship. And when he started seeing everything gravitate to Tupac, Nana, he ain't like that. So when he first got there, he was cool. He wasn't really too cool with it no more, because he had that case. So anyway, I'm gonna get out of here. Shouts out to Seahawks Jose Rodriguez. Welcome to HD TV, Mondo Black TV, Damn D. Don't forget to subscribe. Go to the Patreon today. You're gonna be very happy today. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm out.